Hey guys, welcome back to Flying in Space with Planet Head. I am jumping in now. It's a day after I did arrive in HTEC PA29 here in Venal. I am docked up, so I feel safe enough that I don't have to uh, um, worry about getting blown up right now. Now, the only issue that you run into is something here, of course. Okay, come on. I start talking, and she needs to come into the video. Okay, girl. Somebody got in trouble earlier. It is so hot right now. She has a dog door to a big backyard. I'm going to tell that this is your punishment. This is your punishment. Um, she normally doesn't. I have to force her to use the bathroom outside. I mean, normally she has no issues with that, but normally she doesn't like the rain, so that becomes an issue sometimes. Well, it is so hot here right now that somebody has been hanging out inside way too much and did something they shouldn't have done a little earlier and got in trouble. So she's trying to make up for that right now, I think, because she got talking to earlier. So that's a little bit more information you need to know. Reason why it is so dark right now in here, normally I have a light on, is I'm trying to keep it darker inside the house with the air conditioning on to keep the temperatures down. Yesterday it actually hit 102 degrees here in Pennsylvania, which is a different heat than what I'm used to whenever I used to live in Oklahoma and out west. When I was a kid, it would reach 102 there. And when they'd say there's a humid heat and a hot heat, there's definitely a difference. Now, 102 is still 102, but when you get to the humidity, it is just, you walk outside and you just suddenly are drenched in sweat. So trying to keep that up right now, which allows me a little bit more time in here to play. I was doing some yard work. Hopefully I can get some more of that done a little bit. Enough about that. Let's jump in and do what I want to do. I made a small list here of things that I thought I might want to check out on this video. I've kind of waited. So I've got this over here on the side that'll be updating as I go through them. I'm not going to do all those today, but I'll try to get through a lot of it. I did want to, and then I'm sure as I'm going through, I'll probably think of some other things, but I want to get a general feel for the area. As you notice, there are a decent number of people in this system. That's one of the things I do want to check out first, to see what corporations, what players are actually here. If you see here, like there's 1, 2, 3 of the same name here, so that's probably multi-boxer that's out there. Probably more of these are still him as well. If you notice, that guy's got the same haircut. um, so I want to look over the stations in the area in a general form. I won't get to all of them. Where I can refine things using production, what production, where I can do production, um, and then also corps in the area, what players are part of them. Look at the Z kill board. That'll give you a good feel sometimes. Um, what raw materials are available. Not just ore, but also salvage, which I'll answer that first right off the bat because it's pretty simple. And raw materials and PI. Are you able to do PI out here, or are the corporations that are out here basically controlling that through their taxes on their customs offices? And last but not least, and I'm not sure how much all of this I'll get to, um, but we'll check out some systems. That'll probably be more flying around. And look at the map for funnel points. Funnel points are spots where you can only go in and out one area, which is a big spot that can normally be where gate camps are and things like that. Probably not hitting everything here. I'll probably think of some more other ideas. So the next couple videos, hopefully, will be me tracking some of this stuff down. This will be a good blueprint for me for later on when I want to go to another area, and I'll use some of these things. I'll redo, some of them I won't, some of them will be useless to me, but this is a good start. So let's get started. The one right in front of me is the salvage. So salvage is Garista Pirate salvage, mostly with your when you're doing your uh, PvE. against the NPC characters. So Greased Salvage, um, which is exactly what I'm out here for. Just salvage. Okay. Salvaging 101. And I am going to be using some of the stuff I'm going to be using third-party sites for. This salvaging, it doesn't have all the information I need, but this is a great site. You know how I like to try to say in-game, but obviously there are some websites out there that can be helpful, at least get you started the right way. I'm also always a big proponent of, while you may read something here, you always want to just verify before you start taking it for granted, before you come up with some major plans, because they could have done an update. They could have done something that this page hasn't been updated with. So if I remember correctly, down here, they have a list on, it's wiki.eveuniversity.org/salvaging. If you look at the bottom here, it will say the salvage, the Tech 1 salvage, and then the Tech 2 salvage. It'll give you your who actually creates that salvage. So, for an example, the Amar, the pirates for them are the Blood Raiders and Sansa's Nation in their general area. And they'll give you armor plates and burning logic circuits and charred microcircuits. Whereas they won't give you the alloyed titanium bars. So, give you an idea, what I'm looking for is the I need the Guristas for ward consoles. Okay, now I think something to keep an eye out for when you're looking at this, when you're trying to do production, especially for rigs or something like that, is focus on the ones that only one group actually does. Now, if you'll notice here, all the rogue drones you can randomly get, if I'm not mistaken, almost everything except for a damaged artificial neural network. But everything else you can get from the rogue drones. So while drones don't drop much, if like literally they have like a 1% drop rate for goods, their salvage is actually pretty much random from what I can tell here. So never, if you're really into rigs, drones probably are something you might want to hunt a little bit, or producing those. But as far as the other ones, if you look here, like, let's start off the bat, like an alloy titanium bar is only droppable by the Angel Cartel. I'm going to just eliminate the rogue drones out here because they can basically do everything except for one. But so if you are building rigs that need an alloy titanium bar, you definitely want to be in the Midlotar space going after Angel Cartel. Whereas for somebody like me, the Ward console, I need to be in Garista space. And I think there's one, if not two more here that they only do. Yeah, the Scorch Telemetry Processor. Now, I've gotten a bunch of these. This is why I've come out here. I've gotten a bunch of these from the basic Garistas that are down in HiSec. And as you can tell, the Garistas are the only ones that actually drop that other than the drones. But the Ward console, I haven't gotten any at all. So my hope is, while I'm out here, if this page is up to date, and that's why I say you always want to double check it, that's why I'm out here, is if I can kill larger things or different Garistas out here, maybe I can pick up some Ward consoles. So really good site, really good thing to look for. So that is our first one. And I'm actually just going to write here, we're going to say the Scorch Telemetry Processor. And Word console. This is just keeping notes, just starting at the beginning. So basically on my page here, I've got my salvage and what I'm specifically looking for out here. I might as well just put Now this is just the beginning thing. I get kind of goofy with my spreadsheets. They get really intricate. This is just the beginning. They just kind of grow and grow and grow and get weirder and weirder. But there we go. Okay. So we got that one. Let's pick one from another spot. Let's talk about, since we're doing third-party sites today, let's try something simple. We're going to go to zKillboard. Cool. Delete that. Main page. Blah, blah, blah. And before I do anything, I am going to, I'm going to save this to my, choose another folder. I'm wanting to slowly update my new Flying in Space with Planet Head folder. I have my old one that I used to use, but I'm trying to clean it up a little bit, and everything here I know is still active. My old one is just very large. It's got a lot of videos and stuff like that, so I just thought I'd start off something simple. Okay, we were going to talk about zKillboard. So let's see, can I type in Venal? You can, and it'll give you the region. Okay, and then what I want to look for here in general, just get a general overview of how much death and dismemberment is going on out here. Okay, so looks like a good amount. Wow. Okay. So just my general feel right now, we got some victims out here from Fraternity, and that's from a PC guy. Purge, never heard of them before. This is just a great way to get a good feel for everything. So the first one I'm going to do is check this one. This is just the entire region of Venal. Now what I would do down the road is actually take each one of these and figure out which systems these are getting blown up at, and then kind of verify that with the types of ships. If you notice, this is a shuttle, this is a exploration ship, little bitty ship, so nothing big here. There's a Navy issue executor. I'm terrible with pronouncing that. But everything else here looks pretty small. We got a Venture here. Yeah, nothing over. There's a Hurricane. Is that a Hurricane? Just off the top of my head. Hurricane Fleet issue. So a little bit of an expensive one. 244 million. But everything else here looks pretty small. So digging into those, I bet some of those were caught in bubbles, that sort of thing. So this is more of a dive deeper. What I really want to do is I'm in HTAC PA29. Let's see if anybody has died today in HTAC 2A P9. HTAC 2A P9. Is that right? Did I type that right? Okay, so there's that shuttle. No, that's not what I wanted. Did I type that right? HTAC 2A. Oh, PA. Duh. PA. I live in Pennsylvania. You think I'd be able to remember that. 29 in Venal. Venal. There we go. Okay. So, the last death. Wow. Is that right? The last kill. That can't be right. Since the last kill that happened here was... Oh no, see, it's got the location here. So why is Venal? Okay, something's a little bit wrong with this. I'll have to figure out what I'm typing. Oh, there it is. The victim. Okay, so it's pulling up the victim of HTAC. So this victim is named that. I'm stupid. Okay, let's try this again. HTAC PA29. That I picked the character, not the system. Be careful with that. Okay, so for today, there's only been one death, and that was for a looks like a probe. Then we've got yesterday just one death. The day before there was an epithal death, so that's a PI ship, which tells me that somebody was flying around a PI. Now, this was killed by an NPC. That was killed by an NPC. Now, whether or not something's killed by an NPC or not can be, you want to question that, because while they could have been, the final blow was done by NPC, they may have been tackled by somebody else. So let's go ahead. I want to take a quick look at this epithal here. Okay, looks like he was just killed by this Garistas outer Zakarath Gila. Now, it doesn't look like he has anything on this ship. So he was just flying it around. I don't see where he had anything loaded into it either. So that's something there that you go through and just get a feel for where you're at. I'm going to be constantly checking this out. What I'll end up doing is using zKillboard to go through. If you want to, I think the best thing to do is to start um, from close to work your way out. So as I branch out, I'll start using zKillboard to double check some of these people who are in the system, and then the outer systems around it, see if they are people who actually do shoot people. And then I'll start tagging them here to have a good feel for that. Okay, so what's the next one here? So zKillboard, I'm just going to write in here, fairly clear. More info needed. Go. So as far as refining, let's check out the last one here. How much time am I on here for? I don't want to babble on for too long. Oh, we're in good shape. Dog is sitting right behind me. She's still scared of me because I yelled at her. I didn't yell at her. I told her to come, and she looked around the doorway and went, no, you're mad at me. I'm not coming. So let's do one more quick. We'll do PI. How about that? If I remember correctly, if you click on here, the actual system name, and you go to orbital bodies, okay? You've got, and again, start from close to you and work your way out. We will do the planetary industry. Wait, okay. From this, the orbital bodies, I can now tell that there's a storm, a plasma. Plasmas are a little bit tough to come across. Another storm. Those are two big ones there, a temperate and a storm. Wow, this is no just general systems here. Normally you need at least, there's a lot of barons or other ones that are there. You usually need a baron one just to get things, if you're doing a lot of planetary interaction. You need that baron one to keep everything loaded in, or to get everything produced, because it can go to that level 4 of PI. So this is some high-end planets here, but you would have to actually extract that stuff from the planet and most likely take it to another system, which anytime you jump through a gate, especially out here, you better either have some friends or some really good scouting going on. So last but not, so that's this one here. Let's just check an adjacent system. Adjacent system here. Pull that up. I'm just going to do this as example. Pick the adjacent system, then look at the orbital bodies there. See, there's a baron, a gas, a gas, a gas, a gas, and ice. So you've got one baron one here. Now this is the one that you're going to drop stuff off at most likely and pick it up. So this is the one that you'd want to check the customs office and make sure your tax rates aren't too terrible. and keep an eye out for that. Now, if I remember correctly, I don't think that you can pull up the customs office unless you are, yeah, unless you're outside the station. Once you get outside the station, you should be able to um, check the custom office and see what the percentage of their tax is on it. So I'm going to actually put myself at risk here. And do I have a micro warp drive on this ship? I think I do. Let's find out. Because what I want to do is create an undock save spot. Okay. I do have a micro warp drive. Okay. So this is the second one. The last part of this video I'm going to do is I'm going to try to exit the station and hit my micro warp drive and fly a good distance, well over 150 kilometers outside the station, if not 1,000 kilometers. Let's keep that sucker burning as long as possible to create what's called an undock save spot so that it makes it easier for me to get off the station if I need to or if I want to. So now this is the first time I'm doing this, so there is a slight chance that somebody's sitting outside the station. There's one inside the station right now, and then we've got me. So there's 8 other people in the system. So this is a very important jump here. Before I do that, what I want to do, and this is going to sound a little bit crazy, because there is no clone facility here. I don't want to do this whole travel to get back out here. You saw how long it took me to get here. No, I did that over a couple of days, just because I've had other things going on. But what I do want to do is create a clone or have this be my home station. So if I do die, it'll drop me back here. Now I can always change my home station back to, I think it's whatever station I was originally created at. But if I am not mistaken, you have no jump clones. Home station, there we go. So select home station. Now from this I can either choose my current station, my school station, or whatever corporate office I have, which I didn't know I had a corporate office. So we might have to fly over there and check that out sometime. Wow, that's from a long time ago, I'm sure. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set this as my home station. I think it ends up costing you... Oh, it doesn't. Okay, current home station is this one. So if I do die, it will drop me right back here, which is exactly what I want. Okay, for now. Until I find exactly where I want to be. So we're back up to 11 people. Good, good, good. So last part of the video is going to be me trying to create this undock spot, and then if I can do it, I'll fly back and I'll show you why I did it. So let's go ahead and undock. Now if somebody is out here, I'm going to dock right back up and we'll have content for the next video. Okay. Close. Afterburner. Or not, micro warp drive. I'm going to create more than one, not this time, but in the future. Let's get our angle up. We've got a couple of shuttles here. That's interesting. One shuttle there. No shuttles within distance. As I'm now up to 41 kilometers. There's that shuttle there. So that's interesting. He wasn't there a second ago. The idea here is that when you undock, as long as the station isn't bubbled, I think it's that case, you can instantaneously warp to your save spot, which you're already aligned. So you don't have any wait time to jump, which gives you a really good chance of not being tackled right off the station. But it needs to be over 150 kilometers away. We're at 141 right now. I'm gonna give it a little bit here. Oops, see, we got a crow is within range now, and then gone, so he probably cloaked up or just flew by. Okay, I'll go ahead and save this. Name it Undock 1. We're going to create more than one of those there. And there we go. I'm going to warp out to the safe spot real quick that I had. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time doing it. I want to see if my idea with the customs office does work. So we're going to go back up here to the system. And we're going to pull up the, let's say, Planet 1. Now that I'm out of the station, I can pull up the customs office. So we're going to access the customs office. And it's got a 5%, which is actually really good. Anything under 10% you can make money on in my general range. You start getting above 10%, then you start getting issues. So that is not terrible. Not saying I want to use it, because then you have to see how many people are actually using it, how much that fluctuates up and down. But 5%. More stuff that you want to look into is who actually owns the station. Sometimes you get good information there. Sometimes it's somebody who's the holding company, so you really don't know, so you have to dig deeper into it. But we're docking up, and hopefully...
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Oh, somebody just flew in. That crow just flew in at 43 kilometers. Okay. So, the crow just flew in and docked. That was harmless one right there. Okay. So, the question right now is, do I want to try to show this undock? Let's give it a minute. And now I'm not going to do it the fastest way I could do this. Normally, I noticed that I didn't have my save locations box at the top while I was undocked. So I need to set that up so that I can just point, click, and go. So this is going to be a little bit slower, but I'm going to show you guys hopefully what your undock does, because hopefully I am automatically aligned. So we're going to undock. Now the question is if this guy comes out right when I do. Mission, undock, warp.
Warp drive active.
Notice how I almost instantaneously went to warp? That's what an undock does. It gets you off that station as quickly as possible, hopefully before anybody can lock you up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and descan that. I just want to make sure I don't have any there. Let's see if I can. I am not flying well here. I should have my locations box up here. Now, the question is, can I find that locations box? It's been a while. And this will probably be the last thing I do, but it's actually very important. So let's go personal locations. Yes. Yes. That's what I want. Okay, and then we're going to put this window out. Perfect. Okay. So if you notice, whenever I undocked, let's get our D-scan going. Okay, we've got an Astero coming in at us. So I'm going to go ahead and dock up here.
Warp drive active.
He may have just docked up, but before I dock up here, you'll see here, I've got my save spots right here. When I undocked earlier, it had the station there, so I had to change the camera angle so I could get my little box up to then do the drop down to hit the save to do the undock. By having the box up at the top, instead of having to do all of that for my locations, I can now just right-click warp and not make any click mistakes. Now, there's probably even faster keys that you can do for that, which I'll probably try to figure out. It's been a while. But that right there might save you 2 out of 3 times, rather than I probably spent 3 or 4 seconds. It only takes about 2 seconds for somebody to lock you up. So if they're really good and know what they're doing, notice those 2 people that came through. They either, let's just look at our local here. Local. There we go. Local. I think that was. They log off. Can't tell. They were either coming for me or they were just flying into system so they could log off. My brain isn't functioning. I can review the video. It's the best part of making a video here. If I want to, I can actually review the video to see what I missed. But that's all I got. Um, Pretty cool stuff. I'll try to show next video, if I remember, or down the road, my undock scanning. But that location box can be very, very helpful, especially when you're jumping in and out of systems out here. So I'll be using that a lot over the next couple weeks. In general, I'm going to be posting up today a video that I did 2 or 3 days ago, maybe 4 days ago. And then I have another one between that and then this one. I will be leaving for the World Series of Poker next Tuesday. This video will probably post right before that. I'm going to probably create 2 or 3 more of these and schedule them out so that while I'm there, there's stuff is actually coming out. Oh, we got some bad guys here. Highlighted suspect. But in general, I will be off game starting next week unless I have some sort of really good internet access. But I may do but I will have some videos coming out from this whole experience. I want to play a lot over the next 2 or 3 days out here in Venal because now that I'm here, I think it'll be really cool to do. Probably throw some lore stuff in there for the baristas and the Venal system, like I've been talking about. I think that's interesting. But other than that, that's all I got. So, hey guys, other than that, fly safe, fly dangerously, fly however you want. I will talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye bye.